The best. I know I can't start every video like this, but if there's any team that is slowly living up to that name, it's the Guard. And while I'm still V1 pilled because of their ever impressive system of playing Valorant, no team has come into the scene and asserted themselves at the top of Valorant like the Guard. And while you can't say if the Guard is the best in NA, they're definitely up there, the Guard as an organization has proven to make the right moves, giving their team the best opportunity for success. And success they have achieved. The Guard has established, qualified for Closed VCT, and topped the group in Closed, and is even one of the favorites for making Masters 1. All of this in 4 months. What cheat code did they use to get here? Why has the Guard been so successful while other new Tier 1 orgs entering Valorant all fail? Why isn't every team doing this? Why is the Guard the best? Alright, let's start from the beginning. The Guard Valorant roster first formed back in November of 2021. The Guard is not necessarily a new organization, as their parent organization owns the LA Gladiators in OWL and LA Gorillas in CDL. They were looking to expand into esports with teams outside of franchise leagues like Valorant and Halo. With their initial roster, the detail of which we'll get into later, saw general success at their first 2 tournaments, but lost in Groups of Rivals 1, lost in Round 1 playoffs in NSG and Frag Major. Their wins were nothing to write home about, and their losses were tough. But all of a sudden, they won the NSG 14, beating Tier 2 Titans like Third Impact, Elysium, and even 2-0'd a new T1 roster. A week later at the VCT Open, they qualified for groups, losing to XSET, but beating top teams like FaZe, Luminosity, Knights, and Accru, 2 of which would go on later to qualify for the VCT Closed. In Closed, they looked primed to make playoffs, but no one would expect what they did in their group. Luminosity, EG, 100 Thieves, and XSET, they dismantled all of their rosters. With each win, the Guard became more and more respected, including their notorious 13-0 that led 100 Thieves to dropping their new players and ultimately tanking their chances at making the playoffs. The Guard quite literally killed 100 Thieves. And although they lost to Cloud9, ultimately coming second in their group, it was still a great showing, and they are still one of the favorites to make it to Iceland. No longer were they struggling to make it out of pools, but now they were the one literally ending team's future in the game. They have been slowly gaining fans with every dominant victory. And here we are now. The Guard had one of the best records in their group and is currently challenging for winners finals right now as I'm recording. The fact that they got here is impressive on itself. There are only 3 teams that are considered the best in North America right now. Well, okay, 4 if you consider TSM as well. But what I want to focus on this video is how exactly did they get here? The Guard has become a staple of North American Valorant, but they did so only in 4 months. How? I have boiled down their success to 3 key points. 3 things that the Guard do that set themselves apart from all other teams in North America. And once I outline them, you're gonna see exactly why other teams aren't seeing the same success as they are. Every rags to riches stories come from more or less the same point. Generational wealth. The Guard is a subsidiary of the Cronky Sports and Entertainment, owner of big sports teams like the LA Rams, Denver Nuggets, Arsenal FC, and a slew of other corporations. The Guard is just a micro division of this grand sports organization. But it all means that they have access to, in esports terms, infinite money. While this isn't exactly true, they have a strong base to start building their esports team. Compared to traditional sports teams, this is actually pretty rare to see. There are so many stories of esports teams folding or leaving the scene because of financial troubles. It's always a shame to see players not getting paid for playing on a team, but they never get paid because the money was never there to begin with. Grassroots esports teams barely exist in major competitive esports, so having a mega corporation backing you really gets you ahead. Now, new teams are usually either VC backed from another sports management firm, or once in a blue moon start with a limited amount of money and a love for the game, but those guys usually just get bought out by guys with a bit more money. Now, all this is not a knock on the Guard, because basically all top Valorant teams have big money backing them. But not every organization can take the money and use it correctly. Kansas City Pioneers, Ghost Gaming, and Dark Zero have all entered the scene with money or relevance from other games, but have all faded from the spotlight. And although the Guard has a better starting point, they were able to do much more with it. What's different about the Guard is about how they've chosen to spend the money. In the book, Brands Win Championship, it details how a new sports team can build its reputation without the best players. Now, this book is mainly aimed at college sports franchises, but this translates surprisingly well into esports. It poses this: instead of using your money to buy the best players, use your money to buy the best fans. By playing Valorant with a fan-first approach, they can not only build their brand up within the Valorant community for the long haul, but with more eyes on them, the best players will ultimately want to join their team. The Guard first started rising to prominence during the off-season with an incomplete roster, but they did so with clever advertisements, promotions, having their mascot on the Guard's Plat Chat Champion Code streams, but also acquired the best editors, graphics people. Also, their content is icy. Like, look at this fucking thumbnail. Look at this. I've never seen a thumbnail like this before, and I never fucking will. On top of this, they built their fan-first approach into their roster construction. Just take a look at their main 4 players. They first picked up Valen and Net, 2 tier 2 young gunners that have been working their way up through the ranking. Valen had played stints for 5 other teams before joining the Guard, and Net had played stints on 6 other teams before joining the Guard. They have a lot of potential, and the Guard wanted to build a roster for the long term, so franchise players were a no-brainer. They can grow alongside the team and grow with the audience. It's a win-win. Their next 2 pickups were also ingenious, picking up Saya Player and Jonah P, 2 fan-favorite players that were cut from their teams, not necessarily for tournament results, just because of roster construction. Saya Player is a flashy jet on T1, but was cut during the rebuild of the team, similar to Jonah P with Anbox. To their young players, both of these guys offer tier 1 experience and plan to continue to compete for the long haul. This alongside their coach MCE, who was previously working as the coach for Gen G, and all of a sudden, the Guard has something for everyone. They have a flashy playstyle with big clutches and crazy multi-kills. For the big-brained Valorant mans, they offer a deep strat book of interesting and meta-leading strategies. For the edgy Reddit users, they are niche enough that you can say you like the Guard and pretend that you're the only one. Guard has an amazing composition that covers all of their bases in-game and gives people a reason to watch them out of the game.
But there are some things that I've left out because any team can pick up a roster of new guys and old heads and create a good team composition around them. But it's the final piece of the Guard puzzle that really turns them from a good team to one of the best in North America.
TRENT, the Guard's 6th player, is one of, if not the best initiator in North America. In his time in the VCT Closed Group, he boasts some of the best stats overall, 3rd in ACS and 4th in CAS and KD, but TRENT's rise to prominence is even more an anomaly the more you look into it, because as you think now, you haven't really heard of TRENT before today, and the crazy thing is, no one else has either. TRENT played video games on consoles for most of the time. He didn't get his first PC until 2019. 2019. He began to play in the Valorant beta, which was also his first TAC shooter, a year after he got his first PC, and he famously struggled to get accepted onto teams and continued through tier 3 just to keep playing. One day, the Guard's coach MCE was playing and saw TRENT. He was mesmerized with how he was playing and decided to give him a trial for the team. And the rest was history. The homegrown TRENT came out of nowhere to replace our 5th member Som after some poor performances. When TRENT first joined the Guard, everyone didn't really know who he was. But after his very first tournament performance, the Guard with TRENT went on to win the stacked NSG 14, qualify through the VCT Open, and go 4-1 in their closed groups, only losing to the number 1 seed Cloud9. TRENT is a major impact not only on the game, but is a major game changer for the organization. TRENT is a massive hit with casual Valorant fans. His underdog story and unwavering brilliance in-game as they face harder and harder teams is so interesting. If the Guard is building a team for the fans, finding TRENT is like the keystone of the team's recent success.
The Guard's key to success are this. 1. Have money. Have money not just to buy players, but buy the right players. 2. Focus on the fans. You can have a team that wins everything, but if no one supports you, then you're not going to be winning for long. And 3. Just get lucky. Finding a talent like TRENT is much like going to a thrift store and finding this copy of Space Jam on CD.
And when you look at this list, it's easy to see why other teams don't just replicate their success.
Sure, the Guard has had plenty of opportunities to succeed, but they have taken every single one of them and continued to improve. The Guard has asserted themselves as a top 5 team undisputed in North America, and is a continued to represent NA at their first Masters of 2022. Although it seems like they became a tier 1 team overnight, All of it was deliberate. But nonetheless, the guard is the best. Maybe not necessarily in gameplay, but that's not what matters. If their organization continues to develop as they are right now, then they're on track to create the first Valorant dynasty. Because any team can get lucky, but only the best teams know what to do with that luck. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. Not a lot of people are subscribed, but a lot of people watch my videos, so I know who you are, all right? I know who you are. Honestly, thank you for watching all the way through. If you want to see more videos like this, you can check out my channel right here. More Valorant videos, more in-depth look at teams, and more in-depth videos to come. If you want to talk more Valorant, consider joining my Discord, and you can also see me on Twitter. I post a bunch of shit. I post more behind-the-scenes look at the videos that I make if you want to take a look at that. And hey, thank you for watching.